So let's look at how variables work. So I'm going to create a new demo. So again, I'm going to start by creating a folder, and I'm going to call it variables demo. And inside of that folder, I'm going to open up with Visual Studio Code. So from here, we'll make a new file, and let's call it variables demo .py. Don't forget to put the type of the file so that Python knows that this is a Python file. And then what we'll do is, just to demonstrate, I'm going to say, let's say we want to print a number. So if I said print the number 5, so I'm going to save this with Control S, and or you can go to File and Save, but the shortcut is Control S. And then I'm going to run it by clicking the Run, or you can also run it by hitting Control F5. So I'm going to hit Control F5, and it will run it. And we can see that 5 is being displayed here. So another way we can do this is, actually, we can use a variable. So we can say my number is equal to 5, and then I could display, say, print my number, and I'll save that. And then we'll run this again. And you can see we're getting the same sort of thing. So the nice thing about this is, if we wanted to print this multiple times, for example, we can put the value in here and use it multiple times. So we create this variable one time, and now it's accessible, and we can use it multiple times. And if we do this, we can see, each time it printed out my number, it printed out the same value. Now, if I wanted to change this to, say, 500, I could change it in one place. And when I run it again, notice that all 4 of these print statements will print this value out. So you can kind of think of it as a way of, we're just going to have one place to store the value, but then we can use it in multiple places. So we're going to see that variables are very important for a lot of programming reasons, and we're going to explore those in more detail later. But to play around with this concept, you could try things like this. So I can actually do math in here on this one, and so I'm doing all these math operations in these 3 here, and you can see I put the value in one place, and when I run it, you can see, well, there it is, times 2, there's divided by 2, there's the modulus with 2, it kind of makes sense. Maybe we'll put the modulus with 25 and see what that does. That's still 0 because it's evenly divisible. Let's try 4. There we go, we got a modulus. 24 goes into 500 some even number of times, and then has 20 remainders. So you can play around with this and just try different uses of the variables. We can also do things like this. We can put both numbers and text into here. Now, when you're using text, you have to specify it as a string literal by using either single or double quotes. So, I'm going to put blah, blah, blah in here, and then I'm going to print my text. And if I run this, we can see that now whatever we have in here is printed out. So you can see that we're effectively able to store things into a variable. It's a temporary place to hold something before we use it. So play around with this. Try, making different variables which store different numbers, different values. You can also do this with the math. So for example, I could, say, let's say I wanted to add two numbers together. Well, I could say num1 is equal to, say, 500, and num2 is equal to 200. And then I could say sum is equal to num1 plus num2. And then I could say print. Now, if you want to put a prompt in front of something, you can do it this way by saying the sum is, and then put a comma, and then put the thing that you want. And what will happen is it will display both of these elements. And so if I were to do this, you could see the sum is 700. Well, the sum of what? Well, we could do this, the sum of comma num1 comma and comma num2 comma and then quote. So now what we've done is, and the commas automatically put extra spaces in, so you don't have to put extra spaces in. But now we're going to say the sum of whatever this is and whatever this is this value here. So let me run that. The sum of 500 and 200 is 700. So this is also a good way to get a feel for using variables. So we notice that we can do math with our variables as well. So I could do something like this. So maybe num3 is equal to 55 and num4 is equal to 33, or let's do something else. Let's do 13, and then we could say the division is equal to num3, and then we'll do integer division with num4, and then we'll say remainder is equal to num3 modulus num4, and then we could say print the or let's just start with the number. So we'll say num3 comma divided by num4 is, I wish this wouldn't come up so big. I'm going to do it this way. Okay. Num3 divided by num4 and notice that all my pieces of text that come between it, they have to have a single or double quote around it. Num3 divided by num4 is, and then it would be division, which is that variable, with a remainder of remainder. So what we're doing here is we're going to set 55 to num3, 13 into num4. We're going to do an integer division operation. That's what that double slash is. And then we're going to say the remainder is equal to the modulus of num3 and num4. And so we get all of our math done and put it into the variables. And then we can use the variables to display the information. So we'll say when you do this kind of exercise, try to figure out what it's going to say ahead of time. So num3 is 55. So we expect to say 55 divided by num4, which is 13. So 55 divided by 13 is whatever that division ends up being with the remainder of whatever that remainder is. So I'll run this now. And we can see this, there's the 55 divided by 13 is 4 with a remainder of 3. And so this becomes kind of nice because if I want to make a change, I don't have to put it in multiple places. Let's say I just want to do this with 77 and see what happens. Now I could change that and run it, and it automatically makes all the adjustments and displays the result. 77 divided by 13 is 5 with a remainder of 12. So you can have fun playing around with this, and this is a great way to take any kind of calculation you have and then write the results to screen, and you can experiment with this and get a feel for it. So you can go look online and find some interesting formulas and just do this exercise to kind of get a feel for how variables work. Thank you very much.